Hey squad, how are you? Want to welcome you to another beautiful stream this morning. I'm so grateful that all of you are watching. I see you already busy in the chat. I am Suzette Speaks, and you are watching an episode of Let's Talk Justice. I am excited to bring you some fresh off the presses results from yesterday. I was in a wonderful voting count in Broward County, Florida yesterday. And you guys might be surprised that that will be the topic of today's stream. I'm excited to be here. First and foremost, let me let you know that our special guest, Miss Christina Duren, she unfortunately had an emergency with her daughter today. So I am scheduled today to do a talk about marketing for small business, but she just sent me a text that unfortunately she won't be able to join y'all. So for those of you who have tuned in, ready to talk marketing and small business, we are going to reschedule with her. Things happen. And I know, especially when it comes to a child, if your child's not feeling well, I know that it is a super, distressing thing for parents. So I understand things happen. So shout out to Miss Christina Duran. We're going to try to get you back on as soon as possible. So we're going to switch it up. You guys know that usually on Today I speak justice issues. So I was like, well, we'll keep it in that vein. I want you to first and foremost to let me know where you're watching from. I want to welcome you, all of my viewers who are watching from the various shared platforms that we're on today. First, big up to my Jamaicans on Jamaicans.com tuning in. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from. If you're watching from the Facebook page for Suzette Speaks, welcome. And if you're watching, of course, from my YouTube page, I want to big up all of my subscribers. Thank you so much for rocking with me. But as I said, things happen. And today was supposed to be a straight, marketing tips type of day. But I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I hope you guys will understand and talk a little bit about my experience yesterday going to the final vote count in Broward County for Congressional District 20. If you guys have been following the channel, I'm going to introduce you to some political topics, some legal topics as well, and some current events in the part of my platform I'm calling Let's Talk Justice. So today will be an episode of Let's Talk Justice. I want to welcome you again. Don't be bashful. Go ahead and drop a comment. I also have a giveaway today. For those of you who are aware, I just became eligible for super chat. So to my highest super chat today, I had a guest on this past stream, Rachelle Sylvain Spence, and her book, My Energy. She's giving away a free copy of that. So I'm grateful. If you guys did not watch the stream I have on YouTube called Push Past Your Pain, that was an excellent stream. So many good gems of wisdom in that stream. So that guest, Rachelle Sylvain Spence, decided after the stream, she was like, I want to gift one of your viewers with a book. So to the highest super chat today will go that special gift. I'm grateful to Rachelle for giving that away to one of my subscribers. But like I said, I have an inclination and a knack for getting into things political, getting into things legal. So I had a desire yesterday to watch the final vote count. So I drove all the way to Lauderhill, Florida, to a supervisor of elections headquarters in Broward County. If you guys are not familiar with South Florida, Broward County's county seat, I should say, is Fort Lauderdale. So that's the largest city here and in Broward. And when I went over there, I was able to witness basically history in the making. When I thought about the congressional seat that I have covered on this channel, if you guys have not watched some of my Let's Talk Justice shows before, you may not know that I interviewed quite a few of the candidates for the seat that was decided yesterday. And to see all of the campaigning during a special election, if you guys are not aware, let me just fill you in. One of the longest serving Congress people, that's someone who was elected from a state to go to DC to represent their district. One of the longest serving folks, Al C. Hastings was his name, represented South Florida for a very long time. Unfortunately, he passed away earlier this year after a battle with cancer. So his seat became open. And of course, there were many very qualified people who jumped in the race for his seat. And the people of the Congressional 20, the 20th District of Florida, for several months now, have not had a representative since his death because the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, had to set a date for a special election. So the special election was held November 2nd. And what I witnessed yesterday was some of, I guess, what is the most crucial part of voting that sometimes goes unnoticed because people never really pay attention to it. But in this race, at one point, 3 votes separated the top 2 vote getters. At one point, 10 votes. At one point, 5 votes. So the process that I witnessed yesterday was the counting of what's called overseas or military, overseas and or I should say military ballots. And according to rules here in Florida, folks who are serving overseas have 10 additional days after the election to have their ballot received by the supervisor of elections. So these were ballots that were received after the end of voting on November 2nd, and they were being reviewed to see if they even qualified to be considered overseas or military. So I get into that in just a little bit, but I want to welcome you. Hit the like button. Please share it if you can. Again, I had prepared for a wonderful guest speaker today, Miss Christina Duran, for those who are just coming on, who was going to be my speaker about her platform called Beautiful Brown Girls that she started and has grown to over 34 states. And we were going to talk marketing, but unfortunately she had a medical emergency with her daughter today. So she texted me, emailed me. I'm so sorry. She sends her apologies. She would be here if she could. And I totally understand. And I know things happen. So I had to switch gears. This is real life and go back to a topic that I usually cover on Saturdays, which is justice topics, which is law and politics. So I was happy to do so because I just came from a Friday night, late evening vote count where people who were appointed via the law of Broward County, the laws locally in Broward County and of the state of Florida, who were appointed to be on the canvassing board, and I'll explain what that means. We're going through the final 17 ballots. And if you guys have seen, I've uploaded some of what was done yesterday, what action there was between the attorneys on both sides of the top 2 candidates, the top 2 finishers. And like I said, it was a handful of votes, y'all, a handful of votes that determined what the supervisor of elections of Broward County is calling the apparent winner. So want to tell you more about that. I want to tell you about my time working on the Biden campaign a little bit today. We're going to talk politics, y'all. So I hope y'all are ready. Again, we had to switch gears a little bit because my special guest had an emergency today. So she sends her apologies, lots of love. But again, thank you guys for tuning in. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe button. I'll go back and change the title of the stream momentarily. I didn't even have time to do that to get y'all ready for the switch. But I want to say good morning to all y'all watching. So let me check the comments first and foremost and see who is in the building. Welcome to all my viewers. How are you? Hey, Miss B Finesse, I see you bright and early. Yes, I'm excited for today. Like I said, we're going to be talking law, politics, and justice today. Legal issues for everyday people on Let's Talk Justice. And I want to just let you know that elections matter. Voting matters, as we saw yesterday as an example here in Broward County, Florida. Yes, let's hit that like button. Yes, I hope her daughter is okay. Yeah, when she texted me, I thought, wow, for her to have to cancel, it had to be very serious. So she said, yeah, they're getting their tests. You know how it goes. Anytime somebody got a fever and don't feel well in this climate, you got to go take it seriously, right? So I could totally understand. Hey, Tahana, long time. How are you? Good to see you all the way from Canada. Welcome. What's the name of the book again? It was called Minergy. So M-I plus energy with the I, Minergy. So yeah, she was talking about how to shift one's energy to step into one's purpose. And she was talking about, that was an excellent stream. Go back and watch it. Push Past Your Pain on the Suzette Speaks show. Look for my channel on YouTube. Great content. She was talking about how she pushed past her pain from business dealings gone bad, personal post-traumatic stress from growing up in Haiti and having had dealt with some very painful and violent interactions, and how that, imprints on you, imprints on your body, imprints on your spirit, and how you have to learn to shift that energy into something more positive that serves you. So Coach Rachelle Sylvain Spence gave us the juice, gave us the goods on that stream. And people are like, dog, we should be paying for this. I know. So if you want to get a little boost, check me out on YouTube and go see that, particularly the last stream, which was Push Past Your Pain. I'm tongue tied this morning with Coach Rachelle Sylvain Spence. I think that's excitement because, like I said, in the spur of the moment, sometimes you got to make a switch, and this is life. So, hey, good morning. Chi-Town is in the building. Hey, Nikki, Nicole is in the building. One of my good girlfriends. How you doing? Welcome. Hey, everybody. Oh, hey, Sunbreeze. Nice to see you. Glad you were in the chat. Yes, you did watch the clips on that. Yeah, good stuff. Because I was there just filming. I was like, people need to know what's happening here. Oftentimes, since we've had the 2020 election, and it came down to the wire in several states, Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and not even as close as what I witnessed last night. But guys, the political system works when we work, when we get involved and when we pay attention. And I was so happy to see this final vote count meeting, the canvassing board meeting of Broward County last night was full. And I was like, yes, people are aware. And of course, there are some, family and candidates, campaign people and all that in there. It was full of news cameras. You could barely get a seat. I stood almost the whole meeting because I was just like happy to be that I fit inside before they got started. But it was a beautiful part of the electoral process. A lot of times we don't realize, what happens after voting day, and that there are ballots that still count even after, November 2nd, after election day. So sometimes we forget, or maybe we weren't even taught about that process. And I got a good crash course in it last year. Last year, I was brought onto the Biden campaign as paid staff. It was unexpected, something I didn't anticipate doing, but I like politics. So, sometimes things align. And when I was brought onto the staff, I was brought on as an attorney within the auspices, or within the part of the campaign called voter protection, that does just what I watched this last time. Of course, I wasn't working for anybody this time, but looking at it, having your vote count, signature matches, some of the most simple things. And I was getting a crash course again and a refresher in what it means to be military. We just celebrated Veterans Day. And so many people in the military, depending on how you send back your ballot, you trust that it's going to count, but it don't always count. And we got to, I think, educate people on, especially wherever you are, the rules that apply. Maybe you have to attach an affidavit that I am outside of the country, or they have nothing to go by, because several people in the ballots that they reviewed had their military ballot sent to probably their wife or spouse or family member locally. So it wasn't even sent to an overseas address in London. We had a couple people who had voted from Jamaica, a couple people who had voted from Cali and other places. But if they don't have evidence in the voter file, it's not like they can just Google and say, okay, let's find this address and do all that. That's not a part of the due diligence of the canvassing board. So it was very interesting. I was like, man, so many people don't realize how technical voting has become. I would say it should be a lot easier than it is. But in the United States, we have rule of law, and you have to follow the rules. So it was a good refresher, a good primer in, how important 2022 is going to be when the elections are run in every state, where a lot of different seats are going to come open. And we have to not take for granted how important it is that we get out there. And I saw that there were 5 votes that separated the winner of who was going to be sent to Washington, D.C. on behalf of the Congressional District 20. 5 votes. Now, if you guys have watched some of the earlier interviews, this district covers lots of minority areas from Palm Beach County right down to Broward County. 744,000 people live in this district. Do you know how many people voted in the special election? First of all, I think a lot of people didn't even know it was an election going on, sadly. But out of 700, almost 50,000 people, you know how many voted? 50,000. 50,000 people determined who was going to be sent to Congress, who's going to be sent to D.C. to vote on their behalf. So there was so many lessons. That's why I was like, you know what? I'm going to take some time to upload some of the videos. You'll see it on my YouTube page. I know you were like, who are these people and what's going on? I added a description now because it was late last night when I got out of it, got out of the meeting. But I wanted people to see this is our democracy, y'all. This is the beauty of it. And when it works, it's a wonderful thing to witness. So I wanted to make it public because there's been so much thrown around about fraud and fraud. This fraud, this fraud. It's like a catch-all phrase. And a lot of it isn't true. Most of it has been disproved. So as I was thinking about, what I was witnessing, just being there to support both candidates, it came down to Dale Holness, who is a former mayor of Broward County, former Lauderhill City Commissioner, and he fought a good fight. And healthcare exec Sheila Sherfilis McCormick, and she's a person I also have a lot of respect for. Worked her way up in her own company and become very successful in healthcare. So we had two formidable opponents who had to watch each ballot be looked at before it was even open. Where was it postmarked from? What was the postmark date? What time did it get into the supervisor's hand? Did it get to the post office before 5 o'clock? Because on election days and on the extended days that veterans and active duty military and overseas voters, those have different definitions in different states. But according to the rules in Florida, they had to go through the process to see if they could determine if this was a valid ballot. Now, just because they turned it in doesn't mean it's valid, right? They have to go through the voter file. Did they ever request an overseas ballot before? Did they change their address to somewhere overseas if they were military? Where was the ballot sent to? Where was the postmark from? There were several. One was from Brussels. And they were like, well, we can clearly see it was postmarked from Brussels, October, blah, 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 before November 2nd. So it would have the 10 days. It was very interesting, y'all. So if you have not gone to the YouTube page and just check out a little bit of it, because chances are your state during election time next year, you'll be having the same conversations and they'll be going through the same processes. But again, no large entity usually covers them. Usually these things, because the races are not very close, are not covered. But you have this going on after election day in every state. So I want to welcome you again. I get excited. Yes, you watch the clips. Thank you. Hey, Doug. Welcome all the way from Vegas. What's up, Phil? Thank you for joining. Doug said, wish I didn't have to hop on the road. Give me a tongue twister. I got a feeling I'm going to be triggered. No, let me tell you, elections now have become so contentious. I was just reading, I think it was a Pew Research poll about the 8 categories, or I think it might be 9 categories that all Americans usually or typically fit in terms of politics. Like 3 or 4 on the Democratic side and 3 or 4, they range from like very, very conservative to very, very liberal, moderate for both sides, establishment for both sides. It's very interesting to think about how many different types of voters we have here. And more importantly for me, where are we going to start finding the middle ground? Where are we in agreement on things? There used to be things called, blue dog Democrats or the House, I forget the name of the caucus in the United States. There used to be groups that tried to, even though they were one party or another, tried to find the middle ground. Well, most of those people have either retired or decided not to run again. So you have very polarized sides right now. And it's very interesting. Like I said, the person that won this district, this happens to be what some would call a moderate district, but Sheila Sherfilis McCormick, the apparent winner, is a very, very progressive candidate. She believes in minimum basic income for some that qualify. Remember Andrew Yang, anybody remember him? And it originated actually from Martin Luther King. She used that quote in a lot of her commercials, where there should be a minimum basic income for people living at or below, a certain level of income. So hers in her commercial, she talked about giving people who qualify, not everybody, people who qualify like seniors or people who are making below a certain amount, $1,000 a month basic income from the government. Do you guys agree with that? And she talked about how she would pay for it. She did an interview with me. Go back and look. Let's Talk Justice, with how she would pay for it. But it's very progressive stuff. So it is very interesting to me that a moderate district that some would say, is kind of middle of the road, not too liberal, not too conservative, but Democrat and definitely moderate, has now elected someone who is more progressive to the United States House of Representatives. Anyway, I threw the video up because I was very interested to see ballot by ballot, 17 late ballots or late post-election, I should say, ballots were reviewed to see would they be counted. And like I said, it was less than 10 votes that determined the winner of this U.S. Congress seat. So good stuff, guys. I know elections can be triggering. I hear you. Yay, from the Bay Area, sun breeze at home watching. You know it. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Phil Cobb, showing some love on my YouTube. I appreciate you guys for showing love and supporting the program. I'm working on a new background. I'm going to try to have hopefully by the new year, but I have some ideas of what I want to do to strengthen the platform and keep the conversation going. So I appreciate the love. Shout out to Super Chatter, Phil Cobb, I see you. Mike, can you tell us the topic for today? I forgot. Sun breeze, I'm trying to catch you up. So we were supposed to have a wonderful guest, Christina Duran from Beautiful Brown Girls, to talk about how she created a platform from nothing to something. It's almost like a brunch club that is now in 34 states. So I was like, a lot of people want to do empowerment. Come and talk about how you built this. Like how were you able to, from the ground up, get women interested in coming to your brunches, so much so that after 5 years, it's in 34 states. And the level of sisterhood, the level of marketing she was able to do, and the tricks of the trade she was able to learn was what I really wanted to talk about. But unfortunately, her daughter is sick. So she texted me just right before the show. She was like, girl, I hate to do this. And we're going to bring her back hopefully in December. But that was supposed to be our core guest today, but things happened. So I wanted to pivot back to politics, law, and issues of justice today, because that's what I typically talk about on a Saturday. So I made an exception for her because she couldn't do during the week. So I was like, yeah, come on Saturday, no problem. But unfortunately, like I said, she had an emergency. So we had to switch gears. So there we are, Sunbreeze. You caught up now, my love. Welcome Before the Billions. How are you? Can't wait. We're going to do a collab very soon as well. Welcome. Excellent YouTuber, wonderfully smart tech person, helped me personally get my YouTube in order. Thank you, Before the Billions. And how to worry about, like, now that I can monetize on YouTube, it's like, whoa, what am I doing? And he was so helpful. Thank you, Before the Billions, a part of the fam here. Thank you for the super chat on top of it. Love the love. Thank you. Salute, Suzette. I'm glad you're monetized now. Congrats. You were a big part of it. Thank you for helping me troubleshoot that. We were on the phone for like an hour. I was like, Before the Billions, please help me out. So when it comes to mastery of tech issues, as well as he does a lot of current events and things like this, relationships as well. He did a stream about me. I'm not even going to talk about it, but thank you for lending your commentary to prior streams I've had about relationships and things like this with the one and only master of YouTube, Mr. Lead Attorney himself. Thank you for that love as well, Before the Billions, but can't wait. How are you? Hey, Suzette, we'll come out to view the video with marketing tips. Hey, no problem. Christina is good people. So I know she's going to reschedule when her daughter is feeling better. But, with the whole pandemic and stuff, anybody got a fever, we got to make that move. So yes, I appreciate you. Love Ice TV. How are you? Happy Sabbath. Nice. I'm assuming that you are celebrating today. Thank you very much. And thank you so much for tuning in. Awesome. And put the super sticker on there. Thank you so much. I am new to YouTube, but apparently doing something right. Thank you, Lord, for the blessing of the viewers and those who are supporting. Thank you for your monetary gifts as well through Super Chat. If you're watching on YouTube, I really appreciate it. The channel has been growing exponentially. And thanks to partners like Jamaicans.com and other places that I'm viewed, I'm reaching just even more people. So thank you so much for showing the love this Sabbath, as you say, day. Shout out to all those who are celebrating the Sabbath today. Welcome. Congratulations. Thank you. It's a huge deal, guys, because what I've read is most YouTubers do not grow this fast and definitely don't monetize for several months, some after years. So for me to have done it in less than, I don't even know, 5 weeks-ish or less, give or take, has been almost like a dream come true. It is all thanks to subscribers and thanks to my big brother on the YouTube streets, the lead attorney himself. Having me on his show introduced me to his audience and the snowball effect and all that good stuff. So it's been a learning curve that I've been enjoying. Thank you very much. And Doug, showing some love. Thank you. Y'all gonna make it hard for the book giveaway. Our special guest from, I think it was Thursday stream, Rochelle Sylvain Spence, is giving away a free copy to, and I said I'll make it a giveaway based on the largest super chatter. So thank you very much. Doug says, suggestion for a future topic between you and TLA. Y'all love them shows. If you guys don't know, I didn't want to talk relationships and kind of got drawn into relationships as a topic. You can see the replays on YouTube. Got all in my business, but yes, people seem to love those shows. So I'm going to dibble and dabble in those just a little bit. I won't be doing them all the time, guys, because again, that's not my expertise, clearly. But he says, dating for men and women with the rise of more Black men turning to the Republican Party. Ooh. And women, Black women loyal to the Democratic Party. Now, you know what? It's funny that you mentioned that, Doug. I have a cousin or two that's in a divided household where my cousin is the woman and she's a Democrat and their husbands are staunch Republicans and they're married. And I'm not talking about no play games Republicans. I'm talking about die hard. You would think they would be out there, you know, with a Trump flag on the side of the street type of Republicans, like really will argue you down Republican. And they are married and it works. And when we get to family gatherings, like in the past, you know, pre-pandemic, you know, we just let him go and he's going to tell you how great the Republicans are and you're going to worry about it and you just smile and nod and be polite. But I'm like, y'all lost me a little bit. But yes, I think that's very interesting pairings. And, oh my goodness, can I say something controversial? Okay, I will. There's a lot of data that shows that although our members of the Black community here in the United States, majority of which vote Democrat, for some issues, we are very conservative. Y'all knew that? We can be very traditional and very conservative on some issues. So that's what I was referring to, the article published by Pew, the different categories of Democrats. There are like maybe 3 or 4, same with Republicans. And there's like a minority of independents now that sit on the sideline. They literally call them sit on the sideline independents. Like they just can't take it anymore. They're off to the side. And then they have a version of independents that are Republicans as well that are now really part of this kind of swing vote. But yeah, it's interesting that there are some principles within both parties that Black folks as a whole, I'm not going to speak for everybody individually, have some agreement with. But if you're dating, I think you need to figure this out early and kind of get it on the table if that's something that's really important to you. But I've seen it. I've actually seen marriages of very liberal women with very conservative husbands. And it happens. So I don't know. I guess the love conquers all type of deal. But thank you for that suggestion, Doug. I appreciate it. Hey, the talented Mr. Heat. I love it. Good day. Thank you so for watching. Okay, I'm hopping on the highway. Thank you so much. Drive safe, Doug, please. I wish we could all have equal pay and have a variety of jobs in the same location. Oh my goodness. All right, sorry. There is my phone going off. Sorry about that. Hey, Urban Lady. Hey, what's good? She was the winner of our last book prize from author Miss Cousins was giving away her book. I'm sorry, just turning on my phone. Miss Cousins gave away her book. Abigail Cousins, thank you. Gave away a book to this lucky winner. Her book was My Unspoken Truth. If you didn't watch the stream about surviving sexual abuse, please go back and watch that stream. It was a powerful stream. Abigail was very transparent, yet very sensitive and showed a lot of grace in telling her story. And I think it will help a lot of women and men, both who have experienced that and who have children. And we want to prevent these type of things, guys. So thank you, Urban Lady, for being back, our book winner from the stream called How I Survived. So if you want to check it out, it's on YouTube. Welcome, Phil. This super tap thing is super funny. I enjoy your topics and your help in the sisters. Yeah, man. Yeah, big up yourself. Can you imagine? I didn't know YouTube was like this cool, honestly. starting about a month or so ago, I thought, seriously, at probably the beginning of October, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start doing some shows. And you guys know I've been doing a Facebook Live for so long. So I was like, I should have been doing YouTube this whole time. But I think it's good. I think it gave me a good amount of experience to be able to kind of come over and just plug and play and kind of do what I've been doing from this Facebook standpoint. Thank you. Like up the stream, guys. Yes, please hit that like button. Yes, thank you. The talented Mr. He said he saw me on the TLA shows. Thank you. Like, share, and sub. Thank you, thank you, thank you for showing the love. Hey, Laverne, welcome. Glad to see my peoples in the business. We're talking a little politics today on Let's Talk Justice. Suzette Speaks here. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Had a little change of plans when it came to today's stream, but nonetheless, we're going to make it a good conversation. Welcome. Phil, big up yourself. Thank you for the love. Appreciate you. Super chatter in the building, showing love. If you guys are watching on YouTube, you guys know how the super chat works. Again, if you want to show support for the channel, please go ahead. Thank you so much for supporting and showing me some love through the super chat. Thank you so much. Love Icy says, so true. You're quick buy. It's the love, girl. Yes, thank you. What I'm doing, I appreciate you. Again, I talk politics, I talk women's issues, but I think a lot of men relate. I could really call it people's issues, because I think when it comes to matters of the heart and the spirit, professional and personal development, figuring out why you feel how you feel and how to change that, how to elevate, how to evolve, how to not get stuck. Those are things that are universal. I tend to talk to women. That's why I keep saying, women's issues, but everybody deals with that to some degree or another. And we're not paying for therapy is what I realize. Most of us are sitting with some of these issues, some of these problems, some of these unresolved areas of our lives. So I enjoy talking about it because it heals me. It helps me get better. It helps me grow. It helps me get rid of the baggage. So I figured I've been doing this as a live event type interaction. Why not try it on YouTube? And so far, y'all seem to be liking it. So I've done conferences. I think I'm going to do my conference next spring. I hope COVID is over, not over, but dealt with in a sufficient way. I am wanting to get together with my people so bad. And if you don't know the story, I was doing monthly get-togethers, monthly gatherings and workshops, if you will, discussing very deep and introspective areas of life where I felt, myself, pain, struggle, vulnerability. And I would just pick a topic and try to find a few experts to help dig it up and deal with it, and hopefully help me, and therefore help us release it. And those were some wonderful interactions. So I was like, well, I'll try it here on YouTube a little bit and see if people like it. And it seems like people are liking those streams, as well as the little bit of relationship streams as well. But I like talking about the stuff that touches the soul, touches the spirit of a person, really can help the person grow and look at themselves in a different lens, through a different light, and get freedom. That's important to me. Get lifted. When we talk about relationships, half the problem is that people are in bondage, past experiences, past thinking, past pain. All of these things in our past sometimes hold us back from becoming who we're supposed to be in the now, and therefore we're not ready for who we're supposed to be ready for. Y'all with me? Y'all drop a comment. I get a little bit excited about talking about those topics, but I'm glad you're enjoying it. Come over to YouTube, guys, if you can. Suzette Speaks show. It's been fun so far, and like I said, it has translated pretty well from the live event to doing some of this online. So I'm glad you guys have been enjoying it. Thanks for the love, Ice-T. Respect. Oh, big up yourself, Laverne Hicks. Thank you. See you on my other social media platforms. I do it for the ladies, but I got a lot of dudes on my channel too. So opening that up. But thank you, Miss Laverne, for showing love, just sending the hearts and the praying hands. Yes, this is definitely something I gave over to God early and asked him to bless and just guide, because I really didn't know how this would translate. But I'm grateful for all of the bumps. There were a few and lumps, but sometimes that's a good part. The growth process sometimes involves that. So I'm grateful to you, Laverne Hicks, for showing love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Sharon. Sharon, I always keep saying Sharon. Sharon, what up? What up? What up? What up? Nice to see you. Thanks for coming over. Can I say TLA looked very professional and okay, handsome. Y'all trying to still put people together. Grown folks, they say stature business, but TLA has been a wonderful mentor to me. Like I said, got me into a bigger pool of people than I could have ever imagined, and got me telling my side or my experience when it comes to relationships and dating. But yeah, he's a cool dude. I would definitely agree with that. We'll leave it there though. Thanks, Sunbreeze. Thank you so much, Kid Nardak. Nice to see you. He'll catch the replay, no problem. It's always there. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Thank you. And shout out to Doug for that topic suggestion. Let me tell you, politics when you live in a house divided is actually a very good topic. If you guys actually live like in that type of relationship, let me know. You can always send me an email, SuzetteSpeaks@gmail, and let me know. Because if you guys listen to my viewers, I'm learning. TLA taught me that. Listen to the viewers. If that's something that interests you, and love and politics, that might be quite interesting. It definitely would be an interesting conversation. Thank you so much. Jill in the building. What's up, Jill? Hey, good morning from LA, all the way on the West Coast. Lovely to see you, darling. Thanks for reaching out also on the Instagram, showing love. I appreciate you. Thank you for being one of my early supporters, coming over and showing some appreciation today. I appreciate you. Thank you for all the love and smiley heart faces. I see you, darling. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate you, Doug. What's up, Dom? Nice to see you. It surprised me that I lean right, says Urban Lady. I find myself opening to listening to things that I would ignore before. Listen. There are various degrees of republicanism and various degrees of being a Democrat. So I think sometimes we try to, say we're all of one thing or all of another. But sometimes we could be a little bit of a mix, not on every issue, but there are some, and that's what I'm concerned with. Where are the issues of overlap? I think I can't say every, but I would say the majority of Americans want a decent wage. If I go to work and I work them 8 hours or 10 or 12 or whatever, I should be able to put food on my table. I think that's an American principle, in my opinion. I think Americans want safe neighborhoods and safe schools. But how do you make sure they're safe? How do you regulate gun safety and things like that? That's where the divergence starts. But I think there has to be some middle ground where we can hopefully start talking to each other and be less polarized. Now, they say politics is becoming like a life or like a religion. Do you guys agree with that? I don't think it should be. I should be able to talk to my neighbor if my neighbor is Republican or Democrat and still be cool with them, even though we have difference of opinion when it comes to, our political positions. But nowadays, it's gotten so much more intense, a lot more vitriol, where it's like personal, like you're evil if you're a Democrat or you're evil if you're a Republican. When did we start doing that? And then people will say, maybe it was the rise of Trump. Maybe it was always there. Not my opinion. This is what you will hear pundits add to the conversation, that there was a level of decorum and respect, mutual respect, that was lost. And it changed the ball game. People came out the woodwork with a whole different attitude. I don't know. So there are different degrees, though, in every party. Every Republican, I will say, is not the same. And every Democrat, I will say, is not the same. So thank you for that, Urban Lady. What up to my boy, Andrew Walker? Big up yourself. How are you? Keep up with the legal love. And I like it. I see some branding. Go on, Rude. Yeah, I'm not sure. Occasionally. Trust me. Thanksgiving weekend. Trust me, I'm going to find an outdoor party to go to and go sweat it out a little bit. I have not danced in so long. Probably, was it Memorial Weekend? Did I go out July 4th? Did I go out July 4th? I can't even remember. I go out like on holidays now with the pandemic. So I will take that advice. Thank you for showing love, though. Super chatter from day one. Mr. Andrew Walker also has great suggestions for a couple of guests that I will be reaching out to talk politics and law out of New York. Thank you so much for the love, Andrew. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. I really do. Thank you so much. Welcome, Just Being Jazzy's podcast. I like that. First time seeing it, Just Being Jazzy. I love that name. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it, my moderator in the building. Y'all show some love to Miss Gail Lockett. Thank you so much for showing love and always helping me out in the chat. I found it, the talk therapy yes, this is what it is. I tell people my workshops in person is like church without the pastor or therapy without the therapist in a sense. So I don't have any license to be giving nobody therapy. Let's be real. Let's be very clear. I'm not trying to be or deliver therapeutic services. However, what is deemed talk therapy, which is just talking out loud about what you're going through, sometimes to a complete stranger, can do wonders for the soul. If there are things that you will share with a complete stranger, somebody you know what I'm talking about, that to a loved one, to even the person laying next to you at night, you don't feel comfortable sharing. And a lot of times that can save your life. So indirectly, it will mimic. I definitely would not call it therapy, but in a sense, it is talk therapy, where we have to open up about what ails us. And I think, like I said, for me, being a woman that was raised very conservative, wear that mask, look like you're together, always put your best foot forward. You can literally be dying inside, but you can't look it. You can't express it. You're supposed to be, this picture perfect attorney. No, ma'am, no, sir. There's time out for the superwoman. I already told y'all that. It's time out for that. She's dead. No more of that. And I think for me, once I was able to lay hold of that and give myself permission to say, hey, I'm not okay. Or this happened to me. Or, this is something I'm going through. People were like, really? Sue, I wouldn't have thought you. Yes, me. I'm human. Yes, suffering in silence, suffering by myself, isolated, thinking I'm the only one. So I found out very quickly, once I began to become more vulnerable and share, so many of my super women, they like, girl, yes, me too. And then the conversation and the healing journey begins. So I hear you. Absolutely. This is kind of weird to me to have the privilege of doing it, but I take it very seriously. And I know the effect it has had on people in real life. People still talking about my conference from like 2019. People still have made friendships through that conference. And just so many good things came from it. So I didn't want to stay stagnant and just be like, okay, I'm not going to do anything live because I don't want to put nobody at risk. There's still ways, obviously, like you said, through technology. Thank God for it. Yes. Please hit the like button. Y'all know what it is. Back like I left some. Okay. I love it. Truth and lies. I love it. Back like you left some. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's talk about it, Suzette. You know how I go. We're going to bring it up and I'm going to throw it out there. And I love the chat because it allows me to hear your thoughts as well. Follow me on Insta. Thank you, Gail. Appreciate you, Jill. I appreciate you so much. What's up, Lando? Big up yourself. How are you? Good to see you. Andrew, I appreciate you. You already know. Thank you very much. Again, if you'd like to make a suggestion on a topic or a guest, you can email me. Email me is perfectly fine. Again, I will throw up my banner. This is not legal advice. This is not therapy. But if you also want to chat, you guys know I do personal injury, right? I don't know. Do you guys know that? I hope so. So on my other side of life, I'm a personal injury attorney where I help people. I just spoke to a potential client this morning. He texted me yesterday. Somebody gave him my number and he had been in a motorcycle accident. I'm not going to say all the facts because he knows I just spoke to him this morning, so he'll know. But if you ever get injured at work, in your car, at the hospital with relating to like surgeries or procedures done in a poor way or with a bad outcome, call me. That's another thing I handle. So if you have a legal issue, you don't have to DM me here, but you can call me. And again, this is not meant for legal advice here. This is just for informational and entertainment purposes only. So if you have some legal issue that you want to assess, please contact an attorney directly. You could contact me. Once again, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Suzette Speaks here, doing a different version of Let's Talk Justice. I was talking a little bit about what I got to witness, history in the making or being made, really, yesterday, in a very close, less than 5 vote separated the winner from second place yesterday night in Broward County. Drove over to Lauderhill, Florida, the headquarters of the supervisor of elections for Broward County, tabulating what would be considered legal and permissible or invalid overseas/military vote. They had to look at each package. They had to make a determination as to whether it was valid based on the postmark date. If they couldn't tell if it was sent from overseas, they had to look at the voter file. All of this was done in public view. Cameras like galore from local news stations, etc., because this was such a hotly contested race. If you guys watched or have been watching my channel, you know that I interviewed the top, I think it was probably like the top 6 people in the race. There were so many people in the race, I couldn't get everybody on before November 2nd. But the top folks, a lot of Caribbean Americans, African Americans ran because of the nature of the district, because it's very diverse, majority minority district. So it was very important to me that people, A, know there was a special election going on, B, knew where the candidates stood, and hopefully became somewhat informed by watching my show and by hopefully doing their own research. But it was a very interesting race to watch. I think at the end, it was maybe like 17 people that ran for it from the Republican and Democratic sides. I think Democrats maybe had like 11 or 12. It was a long list. It was a long list that they had to choose from. And most of the folks were experienced, had been in the state Senate, had been in the state House of Representatives, had served locally on the county commission. They were very experienced people. Pretty much anybody who of the, I would say, top 5-ish candidates probably would have done a good job. But it came down to the votes. And this is what happens when, a special election is going on, a pandemic is going on, and people don't know that there was even a contest to fill an empty seat left by a recently passed congressperson, rest in peace, Alcee Hastings. So this was closely watched. I know I watched it. And for those of you in South Florida, you know that, or maybe you didn't, I hope you did, knew that there was a special election that was just held. As I said before, the district is minority majority. Lots of African Americans, lots of also Caribbean Americans, Hispanic as well, white as well, but majority minority. So it was very important for me to highlight this race and to see who stood where. So after those interviews, of course, I was watching for the results, and we didn't have results on November 2nd. It was too close to call. It kept switching, up by 5, down by 10, up by 3 between the 2 top vote getters. That was Dale Holness, former mayor of Broward County, Florida, serving in the city of Lauderhill as a commissioner as well. He said, I think yesterday, I wouldn't even call it a concession speech, but when the cameras were, pointed at him and he gave a statement, he was like, I've been serving the public for 17 years. And I was honored to have them as much support as he had. Now, if you look at the results, Mr. Holness, former mayor, had more support in Broward County, while the apparent winner, Sheila Sherfilis McCormick, had lots of support in Palm Beach. And we can talk about some of those demographics that led to her success. She is Haitian American. She is a woman. She is more like a millennial. So it is also symbolic of some kind of like generational shift in this seat. Because like I said, the late Congressman Alcee Hastings had that seat for over 20 years. He had been there a very long time. So he represented he was a part of most of the bar associations here locally that desegregated the bars. He was, I think, the first Black federal judge in Florida. So he was a part of like the 70s and 80s where a lot of first Black, fill in the blank was happening. So he was part of that generation that helped move, particularly the legal community, forward. So having someone so much younger take his place, I think also is very symbolic. So wanted to just give you guys my 2 cents on sitting in that room, sitting in the canvassing boardroom. I dropped some of the videos on my YouTube channel so you can see the arguments that were being made. The attorneys for Dale Holness standing up, I knew all of them. The attorneys for Sheila Sherfilis McCormick, I knew all of them as well, making arguments ballot by ballot. Judge, when was that one postmarked? Judge, can we tell what if the signatures match? Judge, can you look? Now, this wasn't a court of law. It was a canvassing board. It happened to be that a judge who actually is on the bench happened to be also appointed to serve on the canvassing board. So it wasn't necessarily a court experience, but it was a board, canvassing board, and operated accordingly. But it was so good to watch. Vote by vote, 17 votes came in that qualified. There were hundreds, they said, that were late that came in after November 2nd. But if they had marked overseas, you have 10 days in Florida, in Broward County, to be counted. So the election day is not the last day. Did y'all know that elections are counted? Voting does not conclude on election day. Most places in the United States have these provisions. When you are military, when you are expatriate or expat, you live overseas, but you're still an American citizen. People live in Panama, people live in Jamaica, people live in Bahamas, people live all over, and they're American. When you have these certain situations that you prove, that's the thing. Did you know sometimes you have to sign an affidavit and file it with your local supervisor of elections if you're overseas? You just can't say I'm overseas. They have to have some kind of proof. Was it postmarked from Brussels? Was it postmarked from an army base? Did you show at the DMV military ID? They can go off of public records like that. So it was very interesting, vote by vote, hearing the arguments. Again, maybe it's my attorney brain, but I was very into it. I was like, oh, that's a good point. No, that's not a good point. Oh, good. It's like tennis to me watching vote by vote. But if they spent millions of dollars to get into this seat. So if you spent that much money, each of these last 17 votes count, or not having them count makes a huge difference. So as they were watching, I could just feel the suspense in the room. I could feel the tension. I'm looking at Dale. I'm looking at Sheila. I'm looking at Dale. I'm looking at Sheila. I got my camera going. I would listen. I love this, that part of politics, seeing our democracy at work just lights a fire in me. And I'm like, Lord, this is what it come down to. Somebody got to win. Somebody got to lose. May the best person win. And now I can't even say the best because I like both of them, but the person with the most votes going to win. So when we talk about these get out the vote efforts, and when we talk about making sure you are registered, there have been so many changes in Florida election law with registration. Did y'all know that since this last session? I'm going to teach a little bit here. There have been changes where you now have to also, on your registration, you can go online to your county, wherever you live. Florida has 67 counties. So each one of them, I say, is operating almost like their own little kingdom when it comes to elections. That's how our laws are written. Yes, you have the Florida Department of Elections, but you also have each supervisor in each of the respective counties. Go online and check your voter's registration. Let me ask you to do that if you're in Florida, wherever you are. Go online. When I went to order my parents their vote by mail, there were so many new changes with how they had registered before. They registered right when they became citizens. As you guys know, I'm a daughter of immigrants. They came, they worked, they paid taxes, were good law-abiding citizens, and then they became eligible. I think it was maybe after like 10 years or so. Applied for citizenship, went through the line, did the process. And then one day I remember I was probably, I don't know exact age. I would guess I was probably about 12 when I went to, I think it was the courthouse in Miami for our naturalization ceremony to become a U.S. citizen. I remember being a little girl, and I remember having my American flag. It was surreal thinking about it. I remember saying the pledge. I remember just being with my parents, and they were so happy. And then I think about, and I'm very clear on this, I feel very much as a part of that inherited legacy of all the freedom fighters in the United States that gave their lives, that shed blood, that took beatings, that took dog attacks, so that I, an immigrant, a Black woman, could vote. I take it very seriously. And so when I see parts of the system work the way they did last night, and I could imagine that in other countries, they don't have the same type of freedoms. People kill you when you try to go vote in other countries. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Do we take it for granted here or what? Do we remember the freedom fighters, the sacrifices, those who survived Jim Crow, who for 60 years in our country, Plessy, we just celebrated in New Orleans, Homer Plessy, one of my first legal cases. I studied in law school in con law. In constitutional law is one of the classes your first year. Con law. I will not forget Homer v. Plessy. One of the landmark cases in our country. Y'all getting me there. One of the landmark, y'all hit that like button. I'm doing better than what y'all like to say. Hit the like, subscribe. When Homer Plessy, a man of Creole heritage, this is a 100-year anniversary we just celebrated yesterday, decided, because we had to test cases, we had to test whether the Constitution applied to me and applied to you. We had to test it. So he got on a streetcar that was all white only, as a man of color, just to test, so that you and I could be here and vote. To say, yeah, I'm a person of color. I violated this law. Let's take it to the Supremes. Is this legal? Post-Civil War, is this legal for me to be mandated to sit there instead of here? And it went all the way up through the courts of Louisiana, all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. And unfortunately, our great Supreme Court got it wrong and established the precedence of separate but equal. But was it equal? Absolutely not. It legalized segregation in the United States. And in Louisiana, I think he's going to sign it. I don't know if he's signed it. The governor signed it yet. But they introduced a bill to pardon Mr. Homer Plessy. I'm just moved by it. I'm thinking about all the things I've been a part of in terms of working on elections and things like that. But we got to remember, there were some soldiers, guys, that made this matter. If it was so important to them, and it is so important to people today, that they make it so difficult for you to do, there must be a reason. There's got to be a reason that they would work so hard to make it so difficult. In many states, not all, with provisions that can make voting, to me, burdensome. Where the drop boxes at? You know, let me get off my soapbox and let me read some of these. Y'all show some love. If you're on YouTube, you can give super chats. Thank you guys for showing your support. I get deep into it when I think about my rights, when I think about voting, when I think about politics. Hey, I'm sorry, I read that before. But when I think about all the things, what's going on, Don? Welcome. Doug says the divide is coming from the media. All the major news networks owners are liberals, including Fox. Is that so? Well, I do think a lot of the media and how they are painting us into corners and therefore getting views. People like controversy. Our brains are wired to grab onto what's sensational. Facebook knows that. A lot of other platforms know that. That's why they set up the algorithm, like the most sensational things we tend to be drawn to. So yeah, I do think a lot of the vitriol and some of the hurtful speech and people being so extreme one way or another and not allowing me to disagree with you in a civil way. Can we go to the barbecue though, even though we disagree, or are we hating each other? And we're losing that civil discourse. To present my idea, you disagree. That's okay. Present yours. I may disagree, but now I've heard what you believe and where you stand. We understand each other. That is being slowly kind of wiped away. Everything is the temperature is raised. Everything is, I'm right and you're the devil and I'm like, when we vilify other Americans as the devil? When we gonna stop doing that? Knowing that you may have a difference of opinion, but not to dehumanize the person on the other side. And I do agree, a lot of it is done for ratings. A lot of it seems to be, good TV. People like a little whoo, whoo, whoo. Oh my gosh, those evil people. Let me watch what they're doing. Are they really that evil? And if you listen to the other side, few of the things I can agree with them on. And I don't think everybody who's a Republican is evil. I don't think that. I think some people are misguided, perhaps, but I don't think that, like everyone is a Trump. It's not a Trump Republican is not necessarily who all Republicans are. But I think sometimes, like you said, in the media, everybody gets painted with these big, broad strokes, and therefore we shut our ears. They don't listen, we don't listen, and then there's no sense of communication happening. Thank you for pointing that out. Sup, Doug says, hey, you guys know, hey, K Business, we're talking a little politics today. Welcome. Great YouTuber. Excellent small business tips. So if you want to check them out, please, 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 please. Yay, get out here in the YouTube streets. I see you. Hey, Dirk, nice to see you. What's up, guys? Salute to all of you. Glad you are here. It's Suzette Speaks here. Wanted to talk a little politics today, switch gears. I'm glad you found the beauty in you. Then staying reserved. Oh, thank you, Sunbreeze. Looking forward to more videos and crap. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Sometimes you got to put yourself out there more than you'd like to get to where you need to go. What's going on, my cousin in the building? What's up? Annette, nice to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Please hit that like button. Thank you so much. L.O. What's up to my lady love? Thank you, the Seattle Black veteran. Thank you. Always good to see you. Thank you for coming through. Thanks for stopping in the chat. Thank you very much. What you and okay for? Tell me with some breeze. Thank you so much. Thanks for explaining that. I saw your post last night, but wasn't sure what was going on. I'm not in Broward, so wasn't sure. Thank you. Yeah, I put him up kind of quickly. I was like, I need to share this. But I wasn't like till the morning. I was like, okay, let me go back and put a description so people can understand what I was witnessing and what they're watching on the video. But yeah, it was so good for me to be able, like I said, most times the canvassing boards in your, county or parish or town, however you do it and wherever your states are, they are not paid attention to unless the election is close. So because, like I said, this was a nail biter, it was so interesting to see, the place packed and folks, listening to both sides, the arguments that were made, and what the ultimate read of the law was, which is, do they meet the criteria overseas? Can we, from the voter file, tell? Do they meet the criteria for veteran or military? Did they file an affidavit? Who was it originally sent to when they requested it? Was it requested and sent to like a Germany, or was it requested and sent to like a Myanmar? So they had, like, I loved watching the thinking behind, and the attorney for the county also did a presentation that I posted that explained some more of the law. But it was very interesting. Like I said, it was kind of yes, people who live all over this beautiful globe can vote as long as they're American citizen. Yes, absolutely. If they have not changed citizenship, which has become us. Did you guys hear this story? I can't even repeat this. Talking about citizenship, I was watching, I think on YouTube, a guy who is a British guy who calls himself trans Korean, who people were commenting below was like, sir, if you really wanted to be Korean, you could just move there and then apply for citizenship. That's the way you would become Korean. But he has gotten, I think it was like 17, say, plastic surgeries to appear, in his eyes, because I don't think he looks one bit Korean, to appear to look Korean. And people were just commenting about this, like, sir, you did it the whole wrong way. You needed to go to Korea and either marry somebody or become or apply for Korean citizenship, however their laws work. But yes, it is the most, I don't know if you know who I'm talking about. He calls himself, can anybody be trans another culture? Now, y'all remember Rachel Dolezal, who was transracial in the United States, this woman who was actually a white woman who passed herself off as being African American for years. I don't think anyone can just wake up and say, I feel wrong inside, I'm really Korean. I don't think that's I don't mean to laugh. I don't think that's appropriate. But this is what this person is saying. I'll leave it there. But yes, you can live outside of the United States. People can collect their Social Security outside the United States. Yes, there's whole expat communities in Mexico, Central America before. And I know Panama is very safe. I visited Panama. Yeah, whole bunch of older, majority white retirees, U.S. retirees living there. They still vote in elections, but they happen to live overseas. So yeah, absolutely. You held that point. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of confusing out here. Who votes and what votes count? One of my jobs when I was with the Biden campaign was to make sure every vote that could count did count. I was talking to people from all over, people that were voting from other states that were Floridians, but happen to be is November. They might be somewhere else visiting family, wherever. They still need a ballot. They still can vote in Florida. So I was teaching. I was doing a lot of seminars and things, trainings to tell people how to determine if and how they could vote and how a ballot could be deemed valid. And in Florida, we have something that we have by statute that allows you to cure your ballot. And I was the head of a unit called the Ballot Cure. So even if your vote didn't count, you have a certain amount of days to send your driver's license in to show that it was you because you didn't sign it or some other way. There's a whole bunch of votes that can count and be cured if they are submitted with insufficient improperly, I should say. They can be cured. A lot of people don't know that too. And supervisor is supposed to email you if they have your email on file. Depends on your state, guys. I'm speaking generally, but we have in Florida law ballot cure provision. So even if you got it wrong or you dropped it off at the wrong precinct, because remember on voting day you can't go to anywhere you want. Early voting you can. So a lot of people, their ballot didn't count because it didn't go to the right precinct. And if they have your number or if they have your email, the supervisor of elections should, in most cases, let you know, and you can go correct it. You can say, oh, I voted in the wrong place. Okay, I want to vote in the right place. And if it's before the cutoff time, you can go and do that. So a lot of people don't know these things. And it was very eye-opening for me. I learned a lot being on the campaign and learning how voting works and how, like I say, we wanted every vote to count. So things that you would have thought were dead in the water. Oh no, this person didn't do this. No. We can fix that. Let me get you an affidavit. I email it to you. Sign it, turn it in, and drop it off downtown or whatever. We was hitting Miami. We was hitting Palm Beach. We was hitting Broward. It was very eye-opening. But it matters, guys, or they would not spend so much time making rules and laws to make it more difficult. As I saw yesterday when someone is being sent to D.C. to represent 750,000 people by 5 votes. It was just so eye-opening. I was just like, yes, this is why elections matter. Anyway, how y'all doing? Lando, Charlotte, North Carolina in the building. Thank you. Yes, I enjoy going through some of the processes because, like I said, we all live in busy lives. We got bills to worry about. We got kids to worry about, other things to worry about. And sometimes we forget what is, to me, a part of the basic fabric that allows us to be doing what we're doing, particularly here in the United States and in other free democracies around the world. Like I said, the vote is the equalizer. I don't care how much money you got and how little money I got. We both have one vote. Now there's campaign finance. That's a whole nother way to speak according to the Supreme Court, and what you can donate into who and to how much, and whether your name has to be revealed. That's a whole nother stream, guys. On campaign finance and political action committees and PACs and things like this. But as a whole, the one thing that no matter how much one person has and how little another person has, or how, their life experiences differ or whatever, that vote, we're all equal when it comes to that voting booth. So that's one thing I take, lots of pride in as an American. I'm very aware of it. Yay. Shernan says, ugh, I miss Miami. Haven't been. You got to come on back. You know, our borders are open. Our governor was like, yeah, thank you. Watching your videos from last night, listening to you now get me high. Yes, I was hyped in the meeting. I was like, I can't speak up. I'm not representing either candidate, but there's so many questions I have for this board. Like I said, I did some of what you saw during the Biden election in 2020. I went to canvassing board meetings and I was just watching to make sure the votes that they were saying worked or were eligible or were ineligible, and argued and stated objections and was like, no, we'd like to petition to have that included, and then it goes to a federal judge, right, from the canvassing board. So it was very interesting to watch democracy in action. I put up some streams, so yes, some random streams last night to show what was happening inside that sacred space. I drove over to the canvassing board in Broward County, saw what was happening, and I was like, oh, I gotta video this and put this on my channel, because this is democracy. Yes, you going into the voting booth privately and dropping your vote is the foundation of it, but understanding what votes get kicked out or accepted and not accepted is also now a part of it, because that is becoming more and more prevalent and playing more and more of a role in terms of now that you went to the voting booth, they're going to say your vote don't count if. And of course, some are legitimate. I'm not going to say that every vote should be counted just because it got to the booth. But like I say, signature match is a big thing. People change their signatures over time. And a lot of times what I saw, a vote rejected, looked up why, signature match, saw how they signed at the voting booth and how they signed when they registered. It could be, especially if people get older, their signatures change. But in Florida, we had a mechanism. We could get that ballot cured. Your match did not match, ma'am. You still have time. And you have a couple days after the election. And there are some rules around it. I'm just giving you a general understanding. But a lot of people don't know these things. So they think, dang, I voted at the wrong place. Dang, they rejected because of my signature. Oh, no, we could fix that. And your vote will count. And I got a great education in it, working on the Biden campaign. So it has made me, you're so sweet. Thank you, Andrew. Yes, Dred Scott. Y'all were taking me to law school. I only got a few more minutes. Y'all taking me back. Woo! These are some hallmark cases that we're not teaching people. We're barely learning American history for what it is. I shouldn't have to go to law school to learn about Dred Scott and Homer Plessy v. Ferguson. These are some hallmark cases that are part of American history that helped. I'm not going to go there, Andrew. I mean, Lando. Yes, we did. I'm not going to go there. Y'all got me hype. Hey, so glad. Appreciate the work. Our answers, absolutely. It's not a joke. As they say, a joke ting for me. It's not. When I think about people in this country that have allowed the door to be open for folks like myself to walk through, it's real for me. It's very real for me. So I have to give back. No, you saw I stay on the soapbox. Al, don't get me in trouble. I got a time limit today. Don't get me in trouble. It is so real to me. And that people would take it for granted. It is painful to watch. You begging people. Pay. I bet you I tell you could get $100 to vote, people would line up. But basically, you're doing that anyway. I shouldn't have to pay you. Because how the congressperson or how the state rep or how the mayor or whoever votes, you're going to get that money back regardless. But we don't look at it like that. We say to ourselves, my vote don't count. Some of us, not everybody. I'm sure my chat is a very progressive chat and knows my viewers know what time it is. And they operate accordingly. They don't sit on the sidelines. But it's very real to me. What is happening is voting rights are slowly being rolled back very strategically. Very strategically. And one might argue, I'm not necessarily going to say it's like a big plot. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but there are pundits that will say, oh, no, certain demographics are changing in the United States. So people are trying to solidify that they stay in power. Now, that can be argued. I'm not going to say I'm a big conspiracy theorist, but the trends don't lie. The trends don't lie. When you look at who is being, and the word they're using that should be used is called disenfranchised. So the right to vote has been called the franchise. That's a historical term. We don't really use it all the time now, but back in the days, like the early 1900s, to be franchised or disenfranchised was typically how you talked about it. So when we say we're disenfranchised, that does mean they're taking away or lessening access to the right to vote. And there are patterns around our country that are showing that, yeah, state legislatures are doing that. Why do you think they're doing that? Y'all tell me what you think. Why? If it doesn't matter, y'all hit that like button. If it doesn't matter and your vote doesn't count, why would they be putting in such efforts to make it more difficult? You must have your ID. You must have not only an ID. I'm not going to say people don't have ID, but there's a lot of people in Florida that don't have an ID. I learned that from the campaign. If you're very elderly and, people are like, well, we should work to get them ID. Yes, but if you are finding this out in the short window before an election, I might not be able to get you an ID for my elders who are shut in. There are things that I think, especially if you're like middle class, you think of as normal. Everybody has it. And I'm one of those people. I was like, oh, everybody should have this. Everybody don't have that. Everybody don't have that. We're dealing with wide variety of socioeconomic realities for people. This is real. The United States, we tend to focus on and kind of hold up the middle class as the standard for everybody. We got a lot above, a little above, and a lot below as well that don't have the access to information. There are people I have taught don't have a bank account, don't have a state issued ID. And you wonder, I'm like, how you walk around? You're not scared that somebody gonna stop you? And they're like, no, ma'am. I'm like, you need to get an ID. You need to get, and if no parent, and again, depending on who raised them, if no parent has taught them, you don't know any better. You're 18. When you talk about kids that come out of foster care and foster programs as well, I've witnessed that as well. They don't always have the same amount of information as what we assume people have about, voting and really life at large, how to live, how to not be taken advantage of and get scammed. We have a lot of scammers out in the streets these days. So it's unfortunate that, sometimes when we say we're trying to make voting safer, there is no fraud that was been found. I think there were 60 something lawsuits from Florida to Arizona to Pennsylvania to Georgia, and you ain't win one. But it was all this fraud. Okay, L. Hey, what's going on? Danuska Lakmal, nice to see you. Girl, it's propaganda. I hear you, L. To the barbecue, Who are we invited to the barbecue? And I didn't even mean it like that, but who are we invited? Are they still invited to the barbecue? Because I still want to believe that I could disagree with a fellow American and still invite them to the barbecue. And we could get along and be happy and not go crazy and go to, fisticuffs or yelling matches. Like, I would like to believe I live in a country that we can still disagree on the politics, but not hate each other. That's what I would love. Are we still there? Do you think we've lost that? Do you think it's going to get harder and harder? I hear you. You can email me, guys, if you have any suggestions for shows or interesting people. Hey, what up, Dom? I see you. When you coming to Cali? I don't know. When the numbers go down, I have a couple friends. I have a friend in San Diego, friend in San Francisco, a couple of like schoolmates in LA. So I've been to San Diego. Beautiful city. Oh my God, so beautiful. I think it's one of the most beautiful cities I've been to. San Diego. San Fran was very beautiful as well. Cali got some beautiful, like driving along that, what is it called? That the highway that's directly on the water. Is that the Reagan Highway? I want to say it's the Reagan Highway. It is the Pacific Coast Highway, maybe it's called. I could get it wrong. Y'all correct me, those Cali folks watching. But driving along that, where you have mountains to one side and the ocean to the other is one of the most beautiful drives I've been on in America. I haven't been a lot of places, but I've been a lot of places. But that Pacific Coast Highway Drive, as I even said to myself, why people living out where there's so much fires and stuff? When California get the fires and it's fire season, it's a natural occurrence. That's the natural topography of Cali. Since since Mexico owned California, honestly, it has burned. This is new, only because there are houses now where there's normal environmental cycles where burning occurs. But anyway, I understand why they live there, because when I drove that highway, I drove it from San Diego to LA. From LA to I went to a vineyard, and we went wine tasting, me and a group of gals. That was some of the most beautiful, scenic drive I ever drive. And I'm usually the designated driver of the van or the truck. I like to drive. It was beautiful. So shout out. Maybe I will. Now that I'm reminiscing, this was a few years back. What's up, YouTubers Gone Wild? Hey guys. Drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching from if you're just joining. Yeah. Followed you from TLA. Let's see if you're looking for a real listen. Y'all in my bit, Dom. Come on, my business. Come on, big people business. Hey, Big Von, how are you? I appreciate you stopping through on the lives, YouTubers Gone Wild. I appreciate it. Thanks for showing love. What up, Seattle Black Veteran with the super chat? Always good to see you too. Thank you. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it so much. He says, keep up the good work. I try. Thank you very much. Even on days like today where you get a little, switch up, but you still go through it and it's okay. And you make the best of it. So thank you for showing that love. I appreciate that. Yeah, let's stay on topic. Thank you, Kale. They want to, but I don't know. Get a little messy. Hey, Queen Regina, nice to see you. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Yes, Rachel Dolezal was up in Washington State. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation, guys. But yeah, I was watching some of that, and it was some of this guy who wants to look. I think they say he wants to look like a Korean pop star. It's the weirdest thing. I don't know what's going on there, but it's on YouTube. I was watching it. Not a fan of the Biden administration. I hear you. There is some good, but I hear you. Open to your opinion. Good to see her. What's up, Corey? One of the most hardest working men in Broward County Democratic politics. What's up, big bro? Good to see you here. Bring up those ballots to shore in Florida, so to shore it up. I understand what you mean. In Florida is so vital, making sure every voice is heard. Thank you so much for all the work you've been doing in being an organizer and someone who has been so critical and giving so much time to the Broward Democrats and all the work you've been doing. I have so much respect for you. You don't even know. So thank you for that compliment. But I salute you, sir, for all the hard work. Hey, D Will, what's going on? I see you guys. I'm going to wrap up here in a little bit. Who were the two candidates, Phil? They were Dale Holness. He's a former Broward County mayor and county commissioner. He also served on the city of Lauderhill, is the name of it, city council for several years. He ran in a full field. There were like 12 of them on the Democratic side. And he was head to head and ended up 5 votes short to the other candidate whose name is Sheila Sherfilis McCormick. I interviewed both of them for Let's Talk Justice. It's on YouTube. I interviewed both of them to find out where they stand. Like I said, she is far more progressive in her stance. She believes in things like a minimum basic income to a certain degree for people who qualify. She had wonderful ideas for healthcare, but is very progressive. She thinks more people should be covered. And she has been involved in going up to Washington on behalf of certain healthcare lobbying groups. So she kind of understood where money would come from. I thought she had a very good command of that and understanding how funding. United States government got tons of money. They collected from all of us, guys. That FICA, you remember FICA in your paycheck? How they distribute it is why we vote. How they distribute it. That they don't have to give you $100 to vote, bro. they're actually going to, if we're voting for candidates that are hopefully aligned with what you believe in terms of where particularly funding goes in your communities. So it's very important to know. But yeah, it was a great down to the wire. 17 ballots came in after voting closed. So they had till November 2nd. If you're overseas in military, you have 10 days. But this board had to make the determination as to whether they qualified as overseas and military ballots. If they qualified, then they would qualify for the 10 days. The ballot would be open and the vote would be tallied. Out of the 17 that we watched that came in by the, I think it was a 5 o'clock hour, that were marked military or overseas, 5 of the 17 counted, were eligible to be tallied, right? They said the other 12 did not qualify. But the funny thing was, the 5 that were counted didn't go to the top 2. They voted for other people. So it never changed the vote total for the top 2, the people who were head to head for the final count. So those votes were made to other candidates. So even though they were counted, it did not go towards changing the total outcome. So there might be the person who didn't win, Dale Holness, may choose to sue or take it to court to get the other 12 ballots if he feels he has grounds to count. That's still an option. So I spoke to him yesterday, kind of patted him on the back. I was like, my brother, you fought the good fight, went up to Sheila. I'm proud of you. Go do what you said you was going to do. But I have respect for both of them. And it's a tough situation. You work so hard. You push so hard. You want to win. Everybody wants to win. No one goes into the race expecting to lose. But unfortunately, we got to have a winner. And unfortunately, somebody got to lose. So I had so much respect for the two of them, the type of campaign they ran. Like I said, it came down to a handful of votes, 5 to be exact. It has to be certified by state of Florida. And then now this was for the primary, the Democratic primary. She's the person that won for the Democrats. So now she will face off, because it was a special election, with the Republican that won in January. So she's not over yet. That's why they say assumed congresswoman, or most likely to be congresswoman, because mostly Democrats live in this district. So most likely she will end up victorious over the Republican in January. So not only did she have to win this, but she has to continue to campaign until the general election of the special election, which is set for January 2022. So it was a wonderful lesson in civics, and understanding, how important each and every single vote is so important. Jay Monte, the struggle to start a business sounds hard, to be honest. I started YouTube and struggled with only 6 subscribers. Y'all go over to Jay Monte and can't manage trying to run a business in this economy. You're not alone. You're not alone. I can only imagine. And again, just to get your voice heard, y'all go and show some love to Jay Monte. Check him out. Subscribe if you can. Go on over. It's not easy. Both on YouTube, that's one thing, but like where you earn income, let me tell you, with the prices going up the way they are on goods, I don't know how you guys are doing all across the world, but the United States, groceries are up from anywhere from some as low as 7%, but that's not even low. 7% increase is pretty high, to up to 20%. That's a lot more money. So people are turning to discount stores. I shop at Aldi. I get most of my groceries at Aldi. I don't know if you guys have that where you live, but some people have Save a Lot. Some people have Dollar Tree. Wherever you go, this is what the times we living in, because it has, you're not feeling this by yourself. There has been so much of a shift in this economy due to the pandemic that we've had to make adjustments. And I guess what they're telling us is that the ports are backed up. People are not emptying the container ships. We have a quote unquote labor shortage, but okay. But this is how it's being explained in the news. And therefore, shipping containers are not making it in and out of ports in a timely manner. The containers are just sitting there and people cannot get stuff, et cetera, et cetera. And that's part of what they're saying is driving up prices. But you're not alone. To run a business in this economy is very difficult. It is. That's why I was hoping my guest today, and like I said, I'll reschedule her for probably December, could come on board and give us some really helpful tips to do it. But just keep your head up. It's not easy. Keep your head up. I hear you loud and clear. Y'all go over to Jay Monte and show some love, please. Yes, y'all love these YouTube screets. I did watch Democracy in Action, says Phil Cobb, and that engagement did not know who were the top two. Okay, cool. So you watched some of the video I posted, guys, some of the video of me being inside the canvassing board room, which were making the three, they weren't judges. I would like to say 3-judge panel, but you could say 3-person panel. One was a Broward County vice mayor. One was a sitting judge, not serving as a judge, just serving as the canvassing board chair, as well as the supervisor of elections, Joe Scott, young brother, happened to be a veteran. He felt some type of way. I love the way he spoke up yesterday. In the meeting, he was like, yo, I'm a veteran. If I would have sent my ballot back when I was in Iraq, the way some of these people sent their ballot back, it should not have counted. And I feel for them because we want people who are making the ultimate sacrifice. Their vote should count. We should give them a presumption of counting. But there are still rules that we must follow. So he had made some very heartfelt comments before he voted nay in some of the cases to reject the ballots, because he's like, even though I want to believe this person is overseas, I do not have proof here right now in the voter file or at the DMV or any of the other places that they're permitted to look to from which to gather, this is an overseas ballot. Therefore, it did deserve the 10 extra days. Therefore, we are going to open it and count it. Only 5 of the 17 were counted because of that. So it is very, very stressful. If you're the candidate, I was a member of the public and I was stressed out. Thank you. Dotto said you better teach. Phil showing some love. Yay. Hit the like button. What's up, Gaston World? Say super progressive over here. Like, I'm really excited for Sheila Sherfullis McCormick because I don't know who she's going to group up with. Because like I said, she's very progressive. I wonder if she's going to be down with the squad. I didn't ask her that. It's too early. I'm like, you got to win the January anyway. But Gaston's World is another great YouTuber. He did a wonderful breakdown. Do you guys watch Insecure? Sorry, side note, as I saw his name, it just came to my mind. Do you guys watch Insecure? If you do, he did a wonderful analysis of Insecure on his channel. He talks about a little bit of this and a little bit of that. A good guy. So go and check out Gaston's World. Please do that if you can, please. Doug says, I want your governor to run for president. Do you mean Mr. Ron DeSantis? Ooh, I have a great deal of respect for DeSantis and how he's dealing with the pandemic. Lowest COVID cases currently. Monoclonal antibodies is the key. Well, you have some people that really like him, and you got some people that really don't. So I guess that's one side of the equation. I hear you. There are people who really like Ron DeSantis. Honestly, when he first came in pre-pandemic, he was showing some promise because I saw him reach across the aisle and get some Democrats involved in his boards, appointments for boards, as well as some of the people he was kind of reaching across the aisle to. When he first started, I may have personally diverged a little bit from what I saw during the pandemic. Some people think he did a fantastic job, like you, but I had a few issues early on with the keeping the state open. But people have differences of opinion, and I respect yours. Thank you for that, Doug. Okay, search your channel. You'll see one more. Any changes? Let me know right away. Okay, cool. All right, the Bay Area, some coffee and some ice cream on you. Thank you. Bay Area in the building. Thank you, Sunbreeze 322. Appreciate that. Any other comments? Before I sign off, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a lay of the land of what I saw sitting at standing, because it was standing room only, as you'll see on the video, at the, what should I say, wonderful demonstration of Democracy in Action yesterday, the final vote count in the Florida Congressional District 20 seat between the top 2 in the race came down to 17 votes. 5 of them were qualified to be counted. 12 were not. And to see, the candidates, nervous and with their legal teams, it again got my juices flowing. I was like, ooh, 2022 gonna be good. 2022, here we come. And I was excited. I was sad too. Like, Dale is a stand-up guy from all my dealings with him. So, I hate to see people not get what they want, but I'm happy for Sheila at the same time. So it was a tough race, tough fought race, highly contentious, down to the wire. So it's one of those things where you have to be, this is America. We have winners and we have losers. We don't go like in other countries, some countries, and you don't get to have an election. You get people that say, hey, I'll be the president for the rest of my life. Thank you. You have people that will shoot the opposition and kill the opposition. A lot of that still happens. So we got to be very grateful when we can see, this democracy work, right? When people are active in their democracy, we get better outcomes. Like I said, there are so many people I'm sure wish they had voted when they heard it was down to 5 votes. But, you got to be a part of the game. You got to be in the game. Some people are like, oh, I'm not a part of the system. The system is corrupt. Stand on the sideline if you want to. The people that's involved in the system is going to get the outcome they want. Just my opinion. A lot of people, you want to boycott this, boycott that. It's appropriate in certain scenarios. But when I talk about elections, baby, you got to show up. Because one thing I know, our brothers and sisters across the aisle, if you're a Republican, they show up. They understand, that core value of come hell or high water, we're going to vote. And they can be counted on for that reason. So we also have to, just check ourselves. If we are one of those people that are not as committed to showing up, or getting an absentee ballot or giving a donation of $5-10 to the person that we believe in, or we have to start training ourselves, because that's how candidates win. You just can't say, oh, I support you, dog. Those days are over. Did you write a check? Did you sign someone else up to vote? Did you vote? Those are the most critical things now. So I'm going to wrap up, y'all. All America is on welfare by the Creator. So corruption by lobbyists and political officials have, all of America is on welfare, says Phil Cobb, by the Creator. So the corruption by lobbyists and political officials have perceived power. I hear you. I know, Doug, how do you navigate without ID? People do it. I'm shocked, but people do it. I'm talking about not even a little bit. Like, a lot of people don't have a state issued ID. You'd be surprised. You'd be absolutely surprised. This is so funny. This is, I was talking to, I think it was like my massage therapist. He is like a staunch Trump supporter. Nice guy. Otherwise, I really like him. Not that otherwise. I really like him. He's cool. Woo, I don't know what made me bring up Trump this last session, but baby, you talk about it sparked something in him, and he was telling me how, all the ballots in Pennsylvania were never counted and all of this. And if we talked about this, he was like, the Dominion servers, they're headed in Venezuela. I was like, Venezuela? What are you talking about? Like, he had so many like theories about what went wrong in the last election. I couldn't even get a word in. And he was like, you can't tell me Biden won. You can't tell me. And I was like, whoa, this is what they're talking about in the media when they say there are Americans that truly, I'm talking about, believe in their heart that Biden didn't win. That's a huge problem, y'all. I was like, whoa, I thought we were on the same page. And then, this just like what I'm seeing here, saying Mr. 45 was supposed to still be there. And I'm still asking for the evidence. Yeah, it's kind of wild. There are people who have this heartfelt belief. Gail says the barbecue is a sacred event. Can't be led to everybody. Don't you know it? You got to be careful when you take it to the barbecue. It is very sacred, as you put it, Gail. We can't have anybody at the barbecue. Thank you. I appreciate that, Fresh Prince. Or Fresh Price. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. Now I got to check out Seattle. I have not been to Seattle. I heard it's beautiful, too. I heard it's very, very, very beautiful. San Francisco, do you? Shout out to Narratives and Dialogues with Kwafi, and you told me how to say this. Whoa. Kwafinino Abdonobi. Thank you. San Fran is a beautiful city. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful city. Hey, PCH in the building. Welcome back. I know, Jill, you've been here, but welcome. Everybody doing good this Saturday? I want to see Napa. No, I have not been to, I don't think it was Napa. Was it Napa? I don't think it was Napa. It was Vineyard Country. I don't think all of Vineyard Country is Napa. I don't think. I should know, but I don't know. Oh, fantastic. But I know those rolling hills in Cali, those vineyards where you slope up a mountain and down and it's cool. I love that stuff. I'm an outdoorsy type chick. I've not been to Silicon Valley. No, we was on the highway heading north. But no, I'd like to visit the true. I visited only LA. We stopped at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. I did the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Jumped out, took a picture. I think on I don't know whose star. It's like, y'all, I gotta tell people I've been here, and that was it. We didn't spend a lot of time most places, but we did do. We went out that night. It was fantastic, actually, hanging out. Fire season is no joke. Absolutely. Seeing how dry the terrain is out there, looking at some of like my friend's house we stayed at, she didn't even have real grass. She has like she had stone and like plastic in her front yard. Like I was like, okay, Florida, we pride ourselves in grass. We probably wasting a lot of water, probably wasting too much water, but we love grass. Having like the shrubs that dry kind of desert landscaping look was very new to my eye, and seeing that was very unique. But yeah, but looking at the earth, and we hiked in one of the parks by her house. She was like, you know, we need to go outside so you can like see, and it was so beautiful. But I saw the shrubbery and I saw the ground, and I'm like, this is tinder basically. It's beautiful, but it's tinder. But I could understand why the fire cycles are so dangerous. But now it's just that people live and build communities in places where things happen, where natural fires occur. Welcome, computer geek. Glad you've been sent. Thank you for coming over from the TLA show. Welcome. Thank you. Y'all hit that like button. I'm about to wrap. But if you have any final comments about the election, but go check it out. I really wanted to share that, again, our democracy is so precious. We cannot take it for granted. We cannot feel as if what we do doesn't count. We shouldn't register. They don't, value my vote anyway. They're gonna take it for granted anyway. You can't think like that, because the people, he or she who votes, still are going to produce the outcome. They get to make the decision on how your tax money is spent, if for no other reason. You need to understand who's going to spend your money and what they have planned for it. So it's so important. I really, really, really enjoyed watching the canvassing board final meeting 10 days after November 2nd to see which of the final votes would be, cast, would count, and how the outcome now gave us a congressperson. It was very interesting to watch. I've been here too. Phil, Lakeshore driving. I did drive the lake. Was I on a bus? No, hold on. Did I drive? No, I think I was on a bus. Yeah, I was on a bus. But Chicago, when I visited, it was like my birthday weekend. I won't forget what birthday that was, but my cousin was up there. Two of my cousins came to celebrate with me, and we took a boat on the lake. I believe it's Lake Michigan. Beautiful. To go see the city from the water was so gorgeous. I would agree with that. And then I-5 in Cali, Monterey, and Carmel. Okay, that's the name of it. Or maybe that's another place you're suggesting. Fantastic. It's your favorite troublemaker. What's up? Oh, what's up, Big Time Drum? What's up? Check out his channel. This man got rhythm. I love watching him. He's a talented musician. I have been checking out some of his posts and getting a little groove going on. If you just want to smile, check out his channel. Definitely check out his channel. I'm going to wrap up the super chats. This is your last chance to win that book. Y'all know my previous guest, Coach Rachelle Sylvain Spence, wanted to gift to the highest super chatter. Oh my gosh, I paid attention. In this chat, her book called My Energy. It's available on Amazon. If you didn't watch the stream called Push Past Your Pain, you missing out. I think it's a good to go into the holiday season and get ready for the new year, to acknowledge and process and release pain, residual pain from relationships, residual pain from business, residual pain from illness. I think that was an excellent stream. Several people wrote me and was like, yo, people need to pay for this. I'm like, nah, it's good. It's love. It's what I came to do. So if you didn't watch Push Past your pain with Coach Rochelle. Last call for super chats. All right, what's good coming from the Biden administration, says Doug. Okay, he took the funding from HBCUs for one. Afghanistan was a mess. Immigration is a mess, and there's a lot more. LOL. Well, we don't even have time to talk about your boy Trump, so I'm not even gonna go there. But I hear you. But there are some very good things as well. Our infrastructure bill was just passed. I can't get into all of it, but I think there's good and bad in every administration. And I'm going to give people more than a year to kind of get to work. It's been hard because not only must he set an agenda, he has to get it passed. And that's the most difficult part of what he's faced. You have to get it passed by the House of Representatives and the Senate. We're supposed to, and as Democrats, have a majority, 50-50 plus Kamala, Vice President Kamala Harris being 51. But we've had some senators who have called themselves Democrat, but are not, I guess, in agreement or in alignment with the Biden agenda. What's her name? Sinema from Arizona. Is it Kirsten Sinema? And Joe Manchin from West Virginia. So we can make that another whole stream, but thank you. Wishing y'all a beautiful rest of your day. Gonna read some final comments before I jump out of here. Any final super chats, let me know, and I'll go back. Yes, you saw Sheila on the news this morning. Yes, it was big news down here because it was, like I said, highly contested, hotly watched, very, very close race that came down to 5 votes, y'all. So I wanted to make sure I covered it. Yes, 2 wings in the same bird. That's what we say. Thank you so much. Miss B Finesse says, final comments. Don't sleep on Aldi. You an Aldi shopper too? Hey, I am down with the discount grocer. They actually have gourmet food. They do. And fresh produce from local growers. So they're great. Yeah, I don't sleep on Aldi at all. That's where I buy most of my produce. And it's way cheaper than some of the alternatives here. Let me see. Suzette says narratives and dialogues with Quafinino. Suzette, I aligned with you on TLA with my live shows to show people the content I approve. Wow. And how I'm running things. As much good content as I do documentary style, you would think I'd be at 2K by now. All right, check out his channel, y'all. Go see what he got going on over there and show some love. I know it's hard to get seen. It's hard to, push through the noise. So many of us have a voice now. Everybody has that, that digital space they're trying to take up, their camera, their YouTube channel, their TikTok, their Insta. So it's hard sometimes to get noticed, but keep doing what you're doing. The right people will find you. I believe that. And we're going to show him some love. Check out his channel. If one of the moderators can find his channel and drop the link, that'd be great. Appreciate it. They say buy Kroger because I hear you. Thank you. You told me this. Quafinino. Thank you for correcting me. Yes, we've gone to politics, but you know what? I talk politics on Saturdays normally. So we've gone a little bit into a different side of me, but usually I save my Saturday show for politics. Thank you. I appreciate you saying this, that we want the channel to grow organically. And thank y'all who are going to be like my foundation folks from the very beginning. I appreciate you. Yes, talking this law. You can tell I'm a little bit interested in it, and it gets, my juices flowing. So I have to put a little bit of that in the conversations in my stream. So if you like it, like this, drop a comment. Let me know if you want me to talk more law, politics. But I try to save that for once a week so that, I can get my little fix and you guys can get hopefully enlightened a little bit. I appreciate you. Yes, we way off topic, but yes, sometimes we got to do that. The media have liberal owners. They can put any spin. I hear you, Doug. It sounds like you're very on the conservative angle. I understand that. Appreciate you. Appreciate your content. You're a great communicator. All politics is local. Yes, right. Hey, that's a word. If I can get one person to understand that, I've done my job here. Phil says he likes Cocoa Beach. Were y'all into the Cocoa Beach? Talking about her friend. Yes, that was shocking to me. Going to California, I was like, they don't have grass. I was like, where's y'all's pretty front yard grass? Like Florida, we overdo it. Like I said, we probably waste way too much water on grass, golf courses, those type of things here in Florida. But yeah, it shocked me. I was like, they got stones in their front yard and faux plants, like plastic and a couple of shrubs. I was like, oh, this is the front yard. Okay, great. So yeah, Reno is that way. I didn't know that. Cali has some grass. If you're in Northern California, Oakland, okay. San Fran, Sacramento, the capital. Yes, okay. The so-called capital on paper anyway. So they have grass up north. Okay, where I was like, they ain't got no grass. Interesting. All right, so I'm going to announce the winner, or actually I'll go back because some of the super chats have left and check who the winner is of the giveaway, the book by author Rochelle Sylvain Spence, a special guest for my last stream, giving away one of her books available on Amazon called Minergy. And I will give it to the top super chatter from today. I voted against the vaccine mandate. CRT is what liberal media is used to validate the state flip. FYI, CRT, critical race theory, is what the liberal media used to validate our state flip. I would have to get more into it. Hey, Ellie, you coming in at the end, girl. I am going to jump off of this right now, but appreciate you stopping through and showing some love. We appreciate you. All of my wonderful subscribers. Yes, you hear me. Mansion and Cinema are really the power brokers right about now. Those are watching on Jamaicans.com, our partner. Yes, absolutely. Jim Crow been there. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. You got to watch that earlier in the stream. I got a little bit of a soapbox. So appreciate y'all. Thanks for showing the love. I'm gonna sign off, and I want to welcome anybody new. Go over to YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button. Shout out to all of my Jamaicans watching on Jamaicans.com. Big up yourself. All of my folks from around the world, around the country. So much love to you for supporting this channel and being a part of my growth. I appreciate each and every one of you for taking up some time today and chatting with me and making sure this stream was successful. So I'll bring back Christina in another stream, but much love. Thank you guys for coming through. Yes, please watch the replay because we got a little into it when it comes to politics, but I am grateful for each and every one of you. I just want to spread some joy, blessings, and positivity for you in your week to come. All right. Much love. Thanks for watching. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I will go back and look at the super chats now, and you can email me. I'll announce the person. I have a great, tomorrow we chatting at 3 with my friend from Texas. I forgot. Let me tell you, the chat tomorrow, I got to jump off, y'all, but chat tomorrow is at 3. And I think we settled on the topic was going to be back to where we were with some juicy topic. But the tomorrow's discussion, oh my gosh, I did it. I think she wanted to discuss balancing being strong and being a vulnerable woman. Being strong and being a vulnerable woman. That's tomorrow at 3, y'all, with my special guest, another author. You know, I love these books, from Texas. She's also an attorney, Maron, and she has Eritrean roots. Geber Meskel, is that Geber Meskel? And she wants to talk about being a strong and vulnerable woman. Okay, we got something to say. So I hope to see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Appreciate you. All right, see you next time. Hit that like button. Bye, guys.